Okay, first off, before we start, I need you guys to be on your best behavior. What we're going to talk about today is very, very important. Now and, for the rest of your life. Okay? So, what I want to do is introduce everybody. I don't know names, titles, but name and what you do.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And Mr. Harrison, thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Excellent. My name is Greg Schaefer, and I work for the Department of Homeland Security. Has anybody ever heard of that?
My dad works there.
Your dad works there. Excellent. Do you guys know what the Department of Homeland Security does? What does it do?
It looks a lot for the computers.
Interesting. That's one of the things it does. It does some security around computers, which is what I do. What else?
It helps people from being hurt from computers and about sometimes email.
It does an awful lot of things. Had anybody ever hear of the Secret Service?
Yeah.
They protect the president. Not exactly a secret. You're absolutely right. I don't know why they call it that, but they do. How about the Coast Guard? Right? You all heard of the Coast Guard? They protect our coastline. So the Department of Homeland Security protects a lot of stuff in the country. They try to protect the homeland. And one of the things that we protect is cyberspace and try to help people when they're going online to be safe. But you guys, and you probably don't know anything about that because you guys don't use computers at all, do you? You're kids. You don't use. What do you use computers for? You look up stuff for your mom, like research. What do you do?
I play games.
Games. Anybody else play games?
My computer's built for them.
I have a 4th grader as well at home, and she likes to play games on the computer too. How about you?
What? Cool YouTube videos.
What?
Liking
Lots of cool YouTube videos. Absolutely.
Like on emails.
Email is something a lot of people do on the internet. How about you?
Gmail that we got put into our system.
I heard you all get Gmail accounts. Is that right? That's pretty neat. How about you?
Go to Mr. Harrison's site.
Mr. Harrison's site, so you get some schoolwork information from the internet too. We do a lot of stuff online. How about you?
I go to Facebook.
Facebook, lots of folks. How many people have Facebook pages? Couple
Facebook
Facebook
isn't for
pages.
kids.
You all have email. Anybody doing fantasy sports stuff? Yeah, a lot of that. So we use the internet for all kinds of different things. Do you think that there's, everything on the internet is just, safe and great and perfect for kids?
No.
Some
Because
yeses,
Facebook
some
is
no's.
fine.
There's some things out there that are really neat for kids, and there's some things that might be a little different. So one of the things that I said Homeland Security does is we work on cybersecurity, right? What do you think that means? First of all, what does cyber mean?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Anybody know what cyber means?
Computers, like internet, pretty much.
Computer, the internet. Yeah, that's exactly right. So when we say cyber, we really are talking about, what's on the internet. So when we say, what do you think we mean when we say cyber security? It's a funny looking you.
They're used to my handwriting.
What do you think cyber security might be?
Like stuff that keeps it.
Keep the computer safe. Anybody ever hear of a virus? Yeah. That's what gives you the flu, right?
My iPad's had a virus.
And your iPod had a virus. So you all know, see, sometimes I talk to kids and they don't know about computer viruses. They know about people viruses. But do you guys know about computer viruses?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens with that? If you get a computer virus, what happens?
It might freeze up or not load or.
Computer doesn't work so well when you get a
Yeah.
computer virus, right? What else?
There are a lot of glitches.
A lot of glitches, things not working right.
Your computer slows down.
Your computer can slow down.
You can lose memory.
You can lose memory. Could you lose anything else?
Sometimes it won't turn on and you have to like bring it to somebody who can turn it on.
You know what else can happen when you have a computer virus? Somebody might be able to get your information and take it off of your computer and use it for themselves.
Oh.
Like, did you ever
I've
hear
never
about
had
somebody
that happen.
stealing a credit card number?
That's what happened to my dad.
Did that happen to your mom and dad?
That happened to my well,
I
not.
saw a commercial about that. There's a robot. Somebody's going to die. It happened twice.
It's a lot of people have had that problem, and so when we talk about cybersecurity, we're really thinking about how to keep the computer and all the stuff on it safe. But that's not really the only thing that we think about when we think about the cyberspace and kids. We think about some other things too. So we sometimes think about something a little different. We think about cyber safety. Now, if we're worried about worms and stuff and viruses on computers when we talk about cybersecurity, what do you think we mean when we say cyber safety?
Making sure you don't like give your information to people on that.
Did you read the materials before I got to the class? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The point really, right, is that if you give your information out, do you know, well, let's see, when you meet somebody in the classroom and you talk to them across the table here, do you know who you're talking to? If you talk to this guy right here, who are you talking to? Is this Matthew? And you know it's Matthew. How do you know? You're looking right at him, right? Now, when you email somebody, or when they email you, and they say, this is from Matthew, do you know if it's from Matthew?
No.
Could anybody say, this is from Matthew?
Yeah. Yes.
So we don't actually know all the time who we're talking to when we're on the internet. So what do you think we ought to do? Should we talk to people we don't know? Do we do that in real life?
No.
Do we talk to strangers?
It depends. If they're strangers in school, you have to meet them.
Well, if there are other kids in the class, sure. But we generally don't want to talk to strangers, people we don't know. We usually who do we get involved if somebody we don't know walks up to us and starts talking to us on the playground and it's a grown-up? Who do we get involved?
The police or a parent or
Mom and dad, right? So did anybody ever try to talk to you on the internet? You ever do chat rooms? Yeah, do some folks. On your DS. So when you're connected with a Xbox or a PlayStation or a Nintendo or any of those game systems and you're playing online, are you connected to the internet?
Yes.
You know that, right? It's the same internet that we use when we sit down to the computer and we're typing away, isn't it? So when we do that, and we get a friend request from someone that we don't know, what should we do? Decline it. Ask mom and dad maybe, right? Who is this person? Do I know this person? Right? So that's kind of what we mean when we say cyber safety. We're thinking about making sure that we're not giving out our information to somebody that we don't know, so that they'll have it in a way that would be not exactly right. And then there's another piece that we think about with cyber for kids. We think about cyber ethics. Does anybody know what that word means? Anybody ever hear that word before?
I don't know what it means, but I've heard it before.
You've heard it before? So cyber ethics really is thinking about, kind of understanding the difference between right and wrong. And doing the right thing online is an important piece too. Sometimes, we get mad, we have an argument, and we get online and but the problem is, can you take it back once you've posted it online?
Nope.
No, because once it's out there, it's kind of out there, right? And it's really hard to pull that stuff back. And so when we think about cyber ethics, we do think about that cyber bullying issue, the fact that when you're online, you should be nice to people, and you shouldn't do things that are wrong. Has anybody ever downloaded music from the internet?
No.
Yeah. Anybody ever go out to one of the music sites and buy a song?
Yeah.
What if somebody told you that you could go to a certain site and you could download every song that I don't know. Who do you like to listen to? Who do you like? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Who else? Taylor Swift just gave a concert in my hometown back in Arkansas, and every kid in town wanted to be at the concert. So if somebody told you that you could download every Taylor Swift song there ever was for $1.50, what do you think?
No.
Why not?
Because it might not actually be every song. It might just be like an album.
What if they told you, if you just click through on this button and give me your name, your address, your phone number, your mother's name, and your mother's social security number, and the license plate number on your car, I'll give you not just every Taylor Swift song that ever was recorded, but an iPad to play it on, and service for the iPad 3G for the rest of your life. Does that sound too good to be true?
Yeah.
Does that sound like somebody's getting you to fill out all that information? Right. So what, if something's too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And so not only would it be wrong to try to download music that you didn't really pay for, but it would also be kind of dangerous to do that too. So these are all the kinds of things that we think about: cybersecurity, cyber safety, and cyber ethics. Okay, so when we think about that, there's kind of a rule that we like to use to get people, in the right frame of mind. Because what really should you do before you click on a link or open an email from somebody you don't know? What should you do you think?
You should
Check
check with your parents.
with your parents. Is there something that you might, some sort of method to think about how you ought to behave before you click on those links?
Stop.
Think, connect.
What do you think that means?
Stop and think about what you're doing, and then to go to the website.
Stop and think about what you're doing. Really give it a little bit of thought, because if it's too good to be true, maybe I shouldn't click on it at all, right? And if I'm about to say something that's, going to be hurting somebody's feelings and I can't take it back, maybe I should stop and think about that before I should do it. Or if I get something that pops up on my screen that says, your virus software is out of date, maybe I should call Mom and Dad and say, Mom, Dad, have we updated our antivirus software? Have we made sure our computer is safe? So we got a song that helps us think about this. Can I play that for you? What do you think? Yeah? All right, hold on just a second.
And a lot of people still got this internet thing all twisted. So in case you missed it, well, I'm glad you made it. Come on in, get educated. Stop, think, connect. Here we go. Stop. It's the very first thing to do before you do anything. Take a second look before you get hooked by the website worm on the end of the hook. Think, use that brain in your head. Don't talk to strangers even on the web. Don't walk with haters, cause hating is old. And all that glitters ain't cyber gold. Now that you went and cooled your jet, now that you're ready with no regrets, now that you got the first two steps,
going to do the next time we have to think about, the next time we're going online? Are we going to stop, think, before we connect? So let's talk about some things. First, how many of you have passwords on your email accounts? Everybody, right? You can't have one without a password. Tell me what a good one is, do you think? What does it have to have in it?
Has to have good words in it.
Has to have good words in it. Should it? Let's see. What if I used? How about this? PASSWORD. Would that be a good password?
No.
That spells password. Is that a good password?
I know. It depends.
No. Why not? Why not?
Because it spells password.
It spells. Is it too easy to guess?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what? This is crazy. What do you think the most popular password used on the internet is?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Close.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Do you know what? That's the second most popular password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The most popular password is password, which is silly, 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 silly. You don't really want to use a word. You want to use something that's got what?
A word and
Numbers and letters and
commas and all that.
special characters. That's exactly right. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? If I ask you to guess a number between 1 and 10, what's the most number of guesses it will take to figure out what my number is?
10.
10. If I ask you to guess a letter in the alphabet, what's the most number of guesses it will take to guess? 26.
So that would be 30.
If I have a number and a letter both in my password, you see how it's going to get more complicated?
Yeah.
And if there's two letters, and what if there's uppercase letters and lowercase letters? It's going to get really complicated, and that's the idea. You want a complicated password. So, if you don't have numbers and letters, now, it may get confusing and hard to remember. And you know what? That's okay. Tell your parents what your password is. Should you tell any? Because they can remember for you, and they can help you to remember. And your parents should have your password anyway. But, do we tell anybody else what our password is?
No.
Why not? Why not? Let's see, somebody who I haven't heard from back there.
Because they'll try and get your password and steal your stuff online.
Well, once they have your password, maybe today you're like, oh, I tell you what, I've got a little scenario. Can I read a story to you to help us think about this real quickly? Did any of you have games where you've got a buddy who's much better than you are at the game?
Yeah.
Yes.
I do. My son is much better than I am at all of the games. And sometimes I think if he would get on and play my character, he could kind of bump me up in the rankings, right? And people think, well, maybe I'll give my password to somebody so that they can bump me up. But once they've got your password, what can happen?
They can do anything.
They can do anything. And have you ever had a friend that you really liked this year and then or you really liked last year that you're not as friendly with this year? That ever happened? And if you gave them your password, what could they do?
They don't like you. They can embarrass you online.
Could they send, say, if they had your email password, emails, and people would think it was coming from you?
And they can say stuff. They don't like so and so doesn't like so and so.
Right. And would that be a good thing or a bad thing? Right? That would be, under the cyber ethics, would it be right for somebody to do that? No. But if you don't give them your password, they'll never have the opportunity to do it, right? So if you had that situation and you gave your friend a password and they sent a bunch of mean messages to somebody after you gave it to them, that would have been a bad choice. We sort of covered that notion. And it really would be something that, you would have made a bad choice in giving your password, and they would have made a bad choice in sending those mean messages. Angel used a peer-to-peer program. Anybody know what a peer-to-peer program is? Anybody ever use one of those?
Like where you
Like a
have a name. and then-
music sharing or movie sharing programs? You ever hear of any of those?
Oh yeah, like on YouTube, it'll show a button that says, it'll show like 3 buttons. And one
One of them share.
yeah, and one of them shared.
So there's a bunch of programs out there, but if you haven't used it, this one doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let me try it in a different way. If you had a friend tell you again that you could share music with all of your friends, that you could get their music and they could get your music, and everybody could share music with one another, and you didn't have to buy any of the music, what would you say?
Because there could be some information like with the music files.
Right, and once you do that, if you have to open up your computer and let people get to your files, what do you think could happen there? Once you open it up, do you think you could keep them from seeing other things on your computer?
They could also steal your private information.
Might be able to get to your private information. Might be able to get to something that, maybe you wrote a letter to somebody and you didn't want them to see that. Maybe you had other things on the computer that you'd like to keep to yourself, right? All right? And so there's a whole range of things that we have on our computers these days that we might not want somebody else to have access to.